Friends, do you know which actress used her fame and wealth to manipulate people into joining a sex trafficking cult? Keep watching to find out. The world is an odd little place. It seems like every day we're facing new truths coming to light, and it's especially jarring when celebrities we thought were all goody two-shoes end up being accused of alleged crimes or even sentenced to prison for their actions. Today, we're going to be talking about the worst celebrity scandals of 2020. Before we dive in and discuss, go ahead and click subscribe and ring that notification bell so that you'll never miss out on our future videos. And give this video a thumbs up if your favorite celebrity was in the midst of a crazy scandal in 2020. Let's get to it. He rose to fame off his single Baby after being discovered online by huge names like Usher, and his fame has only grown since then. Of course, I'm talking about Justin Bieber. But friends, despite the buzz surrounding his marriage to Hailey Baldwin and everyone oohing and aahing over their cuteness, Bieber faced a serious rough patch in the summer of 2020. One social media user tweeted that she had been sexually assaulted by Bieber at the Four Seasons Hotel back in 2014 after he invited her and her friends over. Well, once the tweet was publicly viewable and being retweeted and everything, another girl actually commented that she too had been sexually assaulted by him in May of 2015. Social media is relatively still a new thing, legally, to the point where each platform has different rules about what can and cannot be said, so the regulation of tweets and posts is still being debated heavily. Well, Bieber denied the allegations and even filed a $20 million libel and defamation lawsuit against the girls. Well, the worst part of it all is that the girls were actually lying. Since Justin Bieber not only had time-stamped paparazzi photos, but also receipts and other date-marked evidence that he was nowhere near the girls or at the locations at the times they claimed to have been sexually assaulted. Can I just say that the lying is so disrespectful and disgusting, considering there are real victims of sexual assault out there who are less likely to be believed when people pull stunts like this for attention. Awful. Well, luckily he had the evidence, so the claims were thrown out. She was so incredibly beloved on Full House, and America completely fell in love with her as Aunt Becky. So you can imagine how our jaws dropped when we found out that back in 2019, actress Loughlin used her fame and wealth to cheat the system, all for her daughter's education. She paid over $500,000 to fudge her daughter's test scores so that they were higher, obviously, in order to get her daughter into a better school and early admission. Like, what kind of story even is this? Like, why? She and her husband have been battling court and legal proceedings for conspiracy to commit mail fraud, bribery, and money laundering. Yikes. So, 2020 was actually the year of sentencing, and she was given 2 months in jail, 2 years of supervised release, and 100 hours of community service. Oh, and a $150,000 fine. Okay, if she had $500,000 to bribe someone into getting her daughters into a ritzy private school, she's going to have no problem paying that $150,000. Well, her husband got 5 months in prison, and they both have just begun their sentences closer to the end of 2020, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens. It's all pretty crazy, though. Friends, what do you think? Do you think that wealth should be a determining factor on whether people go to college, or do you think she should have received a longer sentence for trying to cheat the system? Definitely let us know in the comments.
Oh, I thought it was just like a social media thing.
Once again, money on that education.
This next one, friends, is the most insane story, and although details have slowly been uncovering for the last 2 years, it was really only exposed widely on television this year. I'm talking about the NXIVM scandal. First of all, let me just say that anything called NXIVM, spelled N-X-I-V-M, is already trouble because I had no idea how to pronounce those random letters together until I watched the documentary on HBO. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So, NXIVM was started by Keith Raniere, and it was supposed to be this motivational, inspirational self-help group. And as more people started to join, it sort of became all the rage among Hollywood celebrities as well, which of course made it more desirable to the average person. So people were pouring thousands and thousands of dollars into taking these workshops in an effort to get a better handle on their happiness. Well, Smallville actress Allison Mack rose to the top of the ranks pretty quickly, and she and Keith essentially started gaslighting and manipulating people into performing sexual acts and started a sex trafficking ring for their own profit. Yeah, it gets pretty insane and it's all really sad. They even branded, yes, like a hot iron with a symbol on it pressed onto skin, Keith's initials. They branded their members, all the while convincing them that this was the path to happiness and taking control over their lives. And by the time they realized how dangerous and scary it was, they were too far in and too deep to get out. When this story broke back in 2018, the world was shocked and horrified, but it was only in 2020 that various documentaries, but namely the HBO documentary The Vow, really exposed all of the horrific details of this manipulative sex cult. On October 27th of 2020, Keith Raniere was sentenced to 120 years in prison and a court-mandated $1.75 million fine. Allison Mack's currently on house arrest, and her prison sentence has yet to be determined, but it probably doesn't look great for her either. This story literally gave me the creeps when I first found out about it, and it still gives me the creeps to this day. It is insane that this kind of thing actually took place in real life. Kendall Jenner is usually not the one in the center of all the Kardashian-Jenner drama, but 2020 proved that wrong. Now, COVID-19 has been super hard on many people, especially those who make a living off of services, social gatherings, or products that have been rendered unavailable due to the virus. Well, in the midst of all this craziness, Kendall made a very tone-deaf move. She threw a huge party in a high-rise for her birthday, and all her friends and then some were invited, considering there were a ton of people at that party. And when photos of the party were leaked, people couldn't believe how insensitive the celebrity and her social circle were being, considering it was around the time of a huge surge of coronavirus cases and there had been a significant uptick in the death toll. The worst part? She knew the kind of backlash she would get for holding a huge soiree during the pandemic, so she literally had signs and cards all around the party letting people know that they can take as many photos as they want, but no posting on social media. Well, clearly that didn't work out. We couldn't bring Kendall's drama to light without, of course, calling out Kim and Kourtney Kardashian's epic fistfight. Keeping up with the Kardashians has been super duper successful, but it's all coming to an end this year due to multiple reasons. Well, while the cameras were rolling, the sisters got into a literal fistfight. I mean, we're used to seeing them argue or cry or bicker or whatever, but Kim said something that must have been the last straw for Kourtney, because Kourtney literally got up, walked over to Kim in the presence of all the other sisters, and hit Kim first. The fistfight was bloody, with scratches and actual punches, so this wasn't just a stunt for cameras or a pretend fight. The worst part was that their kids were literally in the house when it all went down, and that's definitely not the example I'm sure anyone wants to set for their kids. Later, upon watching back the footage, the two said that they worked the issues out and they were disgusted by their behavior. The whole thing, though, is just one big yikes. Well, friends, 2020 has been an absolutely crazy year to say the least. But in the midst of it all, these celebrity scandals came to light. What do you think of them? And do you know of other terrible celeb scandals from this year that we didn't include here? Leave us a comment below. As usual, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell as we bring you more juicy info, gossip, and speculation about the shows and stars you know and love. Until next time!